$1 million. That's what a desperate mechanic wagered I wouldn't survive. He didn't know me. He was unaware I had cheated death 7 times already. He had no inkling that in 72 days I would prove him catastrophically mistaken. My name is Gunther Rall, and this is the story of how I became the long shot no one believed I'd win. The world explodes around me. Tracers, brilliant as furious wasps, tear through the sky, streaking past my cockpit with the shriek of rending metal. The deafening roar of my engine wages a losing battle against the staccato impact of machine gun fire riddling my fuselage. I yank the stick back, a desperate reflex, my body screaming under the G-forces, but it's too late. Smoke billows forth, thick and acrid, choking the cockpit. The controls go dead in my hands. I'm plummeting, a crippled bird falling from grace, the ground hurtling up to meet me in a dizzying, terrifying spiral. This was the 8th time. The 8th time I stared death in the face. The 8th time the sky betrayed me. The 8th time someone, somewhere, must have thought, this time he's not coming back. And somewhere, hundreds of miles away, a man named Arthur clutched a sweat-stained piece of paper. On it, scrawled in shaky ink, a $1 million wager that Gunther Rall me would not survive being downed an 8th time. But allow me to rewind to the beginning. For to comprehend why anyone would stake a fortune on my demise, you must first understand who I was and what the war did to me. My name is Gunther Rall. I was born on March 10, 1918, in Gaggenau, Germany. The son of a merchant, I grew up in peacetime, yet my youth was consumed by the inexorable rise of something dark, something unavoidable, the Second World War. In 1938, I joined the Luftwaffe. Not for ideology, not for Hitler, but because the sky called to me. To fly was freedom. To fly was life. Yet war transmuted that freedom into a deadly dance. My maiden combat mission was over the Eastern Front in 1941. Piloting a Messerschmitt Bf 109. I was not merely a pilot, I was a hunter, and the sky was my hunting ground. Within the first few months, I downed 36 enemy aircraft. My comrades dubbed me lucky. The Soviets branded me a devil. But the truth? I was merely a man striving to survive in a world bent on my destruction. And then came the first crash. Do you want to know what it's like to fall from the sky? Let me summarize. It hurts like hell. Between June and November 1941, just 5 months, I crashed 7 times. 7. For most pilots, 1 crash was enough. You went home. You gave up. You were just happy to be alive. But me? I always came back. Why? It wasn't courage. It wasn't patriotism. It was something more primal, more stubborn. It was rage. Rage that the sky, my sky, had become my enemy. Rage that men I'd never met were trying to kill me. Rage that every time I hit the ground, someone expected me to stay there. So I didn't stay. The first time, I broke my ankle. The second, I burned half my face. The third, I took shrapnel to the thigh. The 4th, 5th, and 6th were all a blur of blood, smoke, and snow. But the 7th time, I should have stopped. Mid-November 1941, Crimea, enemy machine gun fire struck my engine. Boiling oil sprayed into the cockpit, scalding my neck. I bailed out. My parachute barely opened. I hit hard. Dislocated shoulder. When I returned to base, my commanding officer, Hauptmann Vogel, stopped me. "Rall," he said, his voice grave. "You've crashed 7 times already. I know. 7 times, Rall. How many more lives do you think you have?" I didn't answer. He stepped closer. "Listen, you're a good pilot, perhaps the best we have. But war respects no one, not even the best. It kills everyone, eventually." He placed a hand on my shoulder. "The next time you crash, you might not come back." I looked at him. "Then I won't crash," he sighed. "You fly tomorrow." Mission over Crimea, again. While my commanding officer warned me about the 8th crash, Arthur was 2,000 kilometers away in a smoky bar in Stuttgart. He had just heard the story of the immortal Luftwaffe pilot, the ace who had crashed 7 times and always came back. "Gunther Rall," the drunken soldier said. 7 crashes. 7. It's impossible." Arthur looked at his empty beer. His last beer. He had no money for another. His workshop was bankrupt. His family was starving. He had nothing. Nothing except a crazy idea. "Impossible," Arthur murmured. No one survives 8 crashes, and that night, Arthur sought out Herr Klaus Richter, the millionaire industrialist. "I have a bet," Arthur said, his voice trembling. "Gunther Rall won't survive the 8th fall." "I bet $1 million, Richter smiled. "You don't have $1 million. I know, but if I win, you pay me. If I lose, you take everything I have." Richter looked at Arthur, a desperate man. A man out of options. "I accept." And so, unbeknownst to me, my life became a wager. The wager of a desperate man. The wager that would define both our destinies. But here's the question no one asked. Why did I keep coming back? Why, after falling 7 times, did I still climb into the cockpit? The truth? Because the sky was the only thing that made me feel alive. On the ground, I was just another soldier, just another number. But in the sky? In the sky, I was free. And if I had to die, I wanted to die there, high, fast, free. I didn't know that in 13 days I would get my chance. The 8th fall. The fall that was supposed to kill me. The fall that would make Arthur win his bet. The fall that would change everything? While I repeatedly plunged from the sky, Arthur, a 42-year-old mechanic in Stuttgart, was fighting his own war. His auto repair shop, once thriving, lay in ruins. The war had consumed everything. Materials, clientele, hope. His wife, Elsa, was ill. His 3 children starved. Debts accumulated like corpses in a mass grave. Arthur was not a bad man. He was a desperate man. In October 1941, he first heard whispers of me. In a smoke-filled bar, soldiers on furlough recounted tales of the immortal pilot, the Luftwaffe ace who had been shot down 6 times and always returned. "Impossible," Arthur muttered to himself. No one survived 6 crashes, but the stories persisted. And with them, a grim idea was born. Arthur knew men, wealthy men, powerful men, men who would wager on anything during the war. Horse races, dogfights, even human lives. On November 15, 1941, Arthur sought out one such man, Herr Klaus Richter, a millionaire industrialist who amassed fortunes from war contracts. "I have a wager for you," Arthur said, his voice trembling. "Gunther Rall, the pilot. He's crashed 7 times already." "I'll bet $1 million he doesn't survive the 8th, Richter smiled, a wolfish grin. "You don't have $1 million. "I know," Arthur replied, "but if I win, you pay me. If I lose, you take my shop, my home, everything." It was an insane gamble. A gamble from a man with nothing left to lose. Richter accepted. And so, unbeknownst to me, my life became a commodity. A wager. A game. November 28, 1941, over Crimea, I knew nothing of Arthur, nothing of the wager. All I knew was that I was flying my 12th mission of the week. The sky was clear, cold, far too quiet. And then, all hell broke loose. A squadron of Soviet Yak-1 South ambushed us. 7 of them, 3 of us. Bullets began to fly. Tracers crisscrossed the sky like deadly fireworks. I maneuvered, fired, hit one. It plummeted in flames, but then I heard the sound. That sound every pilot dreads, the impact of bullets perforating metal. My engine exploded. Flames licked the cockpit. The heat was unbearable. I pulled the ejection lever, but it jammed. No, not like this. Not now. I wrestled with it. Pulled with all my might. Finally, the canopy flew open. I bailed out. But something went wrong. My body spun wildly out of control. The air tore at me, ripped through me. And then I felt the impact. Not the impact of the ground, the impact of my own aircraft. The Messerschmitt's tail struck me. I heard and felt my spine snap. 12 places, 12 vertebrae shattered like kindling. I blacked out before my parachute deployed. I awoke in the snow. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't move. The Crimean cold enveloped me like an icy tomb. The sky above was blue, indifferent, infinite. This is where it ends, I thought. But then, voices, German. Ground troops found me. I was taken to a field hospital. The doctor, Dr. Friedrich Weber, examined my back. His face paled. "Your spine is shattered," he declared. "You'll never walk again." And fly? Forget it. Your war is over. That night, as I lay paralyzed in a hospital bed, Arthur was 2,000 kilometers away, waiting for news of my demise, but I did not die. For the first few days, I could barely breathe. The pain was so intense I wished for death. But something within me, something stubborn, fierce, unbreakable, refused to yield. I began physical therapy. Minuscule movements. Toes, ankles, knees. Week 1, I wiggled my big toe. Week 3, I bent my knee. Week 6, I sat up. Week 10, I stood. The doctors called me a miracle. I called myself stubborn. And on February 8, 1942, exactly 72 days after my 8th crash, I climbed back into a Messerschmitt Bf 109. My hands trembled on the controls. My spine screamed in agony, but as the engine roared and the wheels left the ground, I smiled. I had triumphed. When the news arrived, Gunther Rall has returned to active duty, Arthur crumbled. He had lost. The wager, his home, his workshop, everything. Herr Richter came to collect. Arthur had nothing to offer. Elsa pleaded. The children wept, but Richter was relentless. Arthur was compelled to labor in Richter's factories for the remainder of the war, essentially a debt slave. Yet in his heart, Arthur felt no anger toward me. He felt something far stranger, respect. "He did what I could not," Arthur told Elsa one night. "He refused to die." Decades passed. I became a general in the post-war German Air Force, a respected member of NATO. I lived a long, good life. And then, in 1983, I received a letter. It was from a historian researching unusual wagers during the war. He had uncovered Herr Richter's records, and within them, Arthur's bet. "I thought you'd want to know," the letter read, "that your survival ruined a man's life." I was stunned. I sought out Arthur. He was still alive at 84 years old, living in a small house in Stuttgart. I knocked on the door. He opened it. We stood in silence for a long moment. "You're Gunther Rall," he finally said, tears in his eyes. "I am. You ruined my life." I took a deep breath. "And you bet on my death." Another silence. And then he laughed. A bitter, broken, yet genuine laugh. "I deserved it," he said, "to bet against a man like you. I deserved to lose." We sat together for hours. We talked about the war, about survival, about what makes us human. Before I left, I shook his hand. "You bet I would die," I said, "but I'm alive, and so are you." He smiled. "Perhaps we both won, after all." Gunther Rall ended the war with 275 aerial victories, the third highest ace of all time. He survived 8 crashes, 12 broken vertebrae, paralysis, and a $1 million bet against his life. Arthur died in 1987, poor but at peace. And I? I lived to be 91, passing away in 2009. But this story isn't just about me. It's about what we do when life knocks us down. It's about refusing to give up, about defying the odds, about proving that the human spirit is stronger than any wager. My name is Gunther Rall, and this is the story of how I became the wager no one thought I would win. And you? What would you do if someone wagered against your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story of survival and unexpected destiny resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe for more tales from the forgotten corners of history.